So hey guys, what's up? I've had my hands on the 2042 beta for a few days now, and I feel that's enough time to have kind of worked out what's good, what's bad, and what needs a little bit of improvement. So in this video I'm going to talk to you about that. So starting us off with the good, Battlefield 2042 definitely feels like a Battlefield game. It's nailed that kind of feel. There's stuff going on 24/7, there's people shooting at you from all directions, there's vehicles coming in, friendly and enemy, causing havoc and blowing stuff up all around you. There's giant events going on like rocket launches and tornadoes happening and stuff like that. Just pure craziness. Lots and lots going on like there should be in a Battlefield game. So something else that I feel has done well is the graphics and the visuals. DICE have definitely knocked it out of the park in terms of graphics and visuals. The game looks incredible. Dynamic weather as well just adds to that. When the raindrops start dropping on your helicopter windscreen and you're shooting at people and picking up kills, it looks absolutely amazing. I can't stress that enough. You get the nice little lens flare effects and stuff as well. The game looks amazing. So in my opinion, another real positive is definitely the gunplay. I feel that the TTK is slightly higher than I would like it to be than in previous Battlefield games. I'm not quite sure, I've not checked. Maybe it's due to the lack of gun selection we've got in the game, or they're maybe not geared towards higher TTK, but that's just my take on it. Besides that, I feel that there's some really good feedback when you shoot someone, the hit markers, the sound, the recoil of the gun. I also felt as if there was much less spread compared to other Battlefield games when moving, being suppressed and stuff like that, which is definitely a positive in my mind. You know, if I'm aiming at somebody, I think I deserve to be rewarded with a kill. So leading on from gunplay, something that I was first very skeptical of in the initial trailers, which is the plus system. I now know that the plus system is absolutely pivotal to the functioning of the game. A lot of the time when you're running between objectives, there's nobody around you for miles. You know, if you see a guy off in the distance, you need to start shooting at him or you're going to get bored. So putting on a higher range optic on the fly is definitely a great innovation by DICE and a sensible idea. So another improvement is definitely the movement, in my opinion, from Battlefield 4. Battlefield 4's movement is very clunky and jerky, whereas in 2042 it's much more smooth. You can transition to prone smoothly whilst aiming. You can jump whilst aiming as well. It's kind of Call of Duty Warzone-esque, but that's fair enough considering the success of that game. The double sprint as well is a nice addition. It does feel nice to kind of have that extra little burst of speed whenever you need it. So just to briefly summarise the good points, I feel as if the core mechanics of the game are pretty spot on. The gunplay, the movement, stuff like the plus system as well, a little quality of life upgrade for the game. I've not got many issues with these mechanics themselves, and I think they're pretty spot on. If anything, I would like to see a slight TTK increase in the terms of the gunplay, just because I'm a Battlefield 4 guy and the TTK there is pretty quick. The TTK in this game is maybe a fraction of a second quicker, a bullet or two is all, but I definitely do feel that the pacing of the game would definitely improve with a slight TTK decrease. So onto the bad, and there's a fair amount of it. I'm not hating on the game in any way. It's a beta, these things are supposed to be tested, that's what it's for, so we'll start off with localized fighting and nothing in between. So what do I mean by that? I mean that if you're on an objective, the fighting is crazy, it's hectic, there's always something going on. But if you're running between objectives, a really long distance, hundreds of meters, there's usually absolutely nothing happening. Now during these moments the game feels very bare bones, very sparse, and it feels quite boring, I can't lie to you. There's nothing fun about running around from objective A to B and maybe getting picked off by a sniper halfway in between. There should be ways to get between objectives much quicker, or if not, the objectives should be much closer. The vehicle call-in system is a clear way to combat this, but in my experience it doesn't work half the time, and the vehicles you want to call in usually are not available as well. So speaking of vehicles, let's move on to what I think is the biggest issue with Battlefield 2042 as of right now: the vehicle balance. Vehicle balance is way off in this game. Helis in particular are wildly overpowered, jets are incredibly weak, and tanks are just extremely annoying to use, but also very, very powerful. So firstly, there are just too many vehicles on the map. I think there's like 4 little birds, maybe even possibly 6 little birds on one map, which is way too much considering everybody clusters around these 4 or 5 zones of infantry. The helis also have no mass, no inertia. You can really throw them around like a ragdoll, something like that, and there will be absolutely no punishment for you in terms of control. You can recover it very, very easily. Just to compound the issues for the helis, the mini birds on the Nighthawk do not line up properly with the reticle. That's a typical beta bug that we see in pretty much every Battlefield game for some reason. As well as that, the countermeasures barely work, and the miniguns are wildly underpowered. These minigun issues are not exclusive to the Nightberg. The jet also suffers from probably the worst primary I've ever seen on a jet in any Battlefield game. It is like tickling your opposition, and that's even if you can get a hit marker with it. So just to round off, there are many more issues with vehicles, but I'll speak about the tank. I absolutely hate the way that the turret does not turn at the same rate as the mouse. It's really hard to control, and it's really irritating when you're trying to kill people and aim the turret. So next is something that only affects the guys on PC, and that is optimization. 2042 is one of the most poorly optimized games I've seen in a while. My CPU usage is through the roof and my graphics card is not even being utilized. Not to mention I'm getting absolutely humongous frame drops, and the game will not reach 100 FPS even on low settings. I know it's a beta, but the optimization is simply not good enough. If the game comes out with optimization anywhere near this, there's no way I'm playing it. So the next negative is the outstanding amount of bugs that are actually in this beta. I've played basically every Battlefield game's beta since Battlefield 4, and none of them have been anywhere near this buggy. It's not uncommon for me to drop a mag into somebody and they take no damage, or I see a guy flying around, or I can't exit a vehicle when it's about to blow up. These bugs are obviously all very game breaking, and for them to make it into the release of the game would be absolutely catastrophic. I have heard from various sources that the beta build is actually a few months old. That does give me a little bit more confidence, but it wouldn't be the first time that DICE has had a terrible beta experience and then brought that on to the game. Now, more of a nitpick on something that I thought was definitely a positive in the beginning, and that is the plus system. I'm not given the option to change my weapons or attachments prior to spawning in, so every time I spawn in I have to change my equipment to how I want it, and I don't actually like that. I wish I could have a more Battlefield 4 style where I choose my options and stuff like that, and then when I spawn in I then have the ability to choose from a list of stuff I've chosen to put onto my gun at whatever point I would like. Yet another issue I have with the game is the size of the squads. Battlefield traditionally has had 5-man squads, well, back to Battlefield 4 and 3 as long as I can remember, but Battlefield 2042 has decided to go with 4-man squads for whatever reason. This leads to a severe lack of spawn points, especially when your team's dying a lot and you really are forced to spawn on objectives, maybe on an island away from any action, and run in to the combat zones, which definitely does not lend itself to the rapid gameplay you want to see from a Battlefield game. And on some final notes here, the specialists are particularly overpowered in some instances. McKay and Maria Falk in particular. Maria Falk can just heal herself from basically dead in about 2 seconds. McKay can get to some areas which are very annoying to deal with, and it means that at most points in the map there's some guy up some annoying point that you also have to deal with and be prepared for. And due to this, the other specialists, Boris and Casper I think his name is, don't get as much use as they should. Casper in particular is very weak. I don't think I ever see him being used. His ability provides you very little value, and it definitely just slows down the pace of your game. So yeah guys, that's about it from me. I'm definitely not hating on the game, I just want what is best for the Battlefield franchise, and I feel that there are some bits and pieces that definitely need improvement, whilst there are also some bits and pieces that are definitely good, like the core mechanics of the game. I also just want to apologise quickly for the lack of content over the past few days. I've been extremely busy with university work, and that's on me. I have to prepare better in future. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop it a like, leave a comment as well, subscribe with post notifications on if you're new here and you want to see more content like this, and yeah, see you next time, take care.